Welcome to the most in-depth Half-Life Advanced Effects stream tutorial on the internet. This is going to go through everything. If you're new, watch the whole thing. But if you need to find a specific thing, definitely use the chapters. Skip to whatever part of the video you need to. Okay, so first things first, let's add a stream. Type in merv_streams. Add. Okay, normal streams are the most basic streams you can make. You can't add any effects to them. You can't really do anything. What you see is what you get. I would suggest not using this to record with. That being said, normal streams are important to actually create, but not record with. Half-Life Advanced Effects takes the first stream in your list of streams and it uses that sort of like a baseline of foundation for how it draws the rest of the streams. That's really confusing and really technical. You really don't need to understand it, but just know you want to add a normal stream, okay? And we'll just call this norm. I'm going to teach you a little later how to make sure that this normal stream doesn't record, okay? We just need it there for foundational purposes, but we don't want to record it. Next stream, depth. Okay, these are your depth of field streams, okay? This basically allows you to create that cool depth of field look where the background's blurry and the foreground is crisp and clear and in focus. All right, so let's make one of those. Merv streams add depth, okay? And then we add our own custom name of the stream, which is, let's call it DOF. Now, we want to preview this, right? We want to see what this stream looks like. Well, there's a command called merv streams preview, okay? And then what you do is you type in the name of the stream that you want to preview. And the depth of field stream that we want to preview is called DOF. So we type in DOF, and there you go. Now we're previewing the stream. Basically, what you want to remember is white is blurry, black is clear. So the more white there is on this view, the more blurriness there's going to be in your post-production program. The more black there is, the more in focus that area is going to be, okay? Now, there's actually a way to edit this look. I can bring the focal range closer to the camera or further away from the camera with two easy commands. We want to type in merv stream edit DOF, and let's define these two things. Okay, depthValMax is basically the max distance that your focal range is going to reach, and depthVal is the actual range that your focus will be in. To give a better idea, if the value of depthVal is really close to the value of depthValMax, you're going to have a very hard cutoff between what's in focus and what's blurry. The further the distance depthVal is from depthValMax, the more gradient you're going to get in the focal range, okay? So let me show you. So let's type in depthValMax, and let's make it like 200. And you're gonna see this white color get really close to the camera. It's pretty much taken up the entire area. Now let's change depthVal to be a little closer to 200, because then we're gonna get a little more focal range. So let's make it 190. And as you can see, there's a very hard cutoff between what's gonna be blurry and what's gonna be in focus. Now let's start walking this value back from 200. So let's bring it to 150. All right, do you see how there's a gradient starting to form? Let's do 100. It's getting a little smoother, okay? Now let's make depthValMax 400. All right, cool. So it pushed it back even further. And look, we're getting even more gradient from what's in focus to what's not. Are you starting to see how this works? And if you want to just stop previewing all streams, you don't want any preview, type in merv preview, end with no space in between, and it'll end the preview. Okay, baseFX streams. baseFX streams are pretty much what you're going to be using 90% of the time. You can undraw particles with it. You can undraw player models with it. It's the most robust stream that Half-Life Advanced Effects offers, okay? So let's make one. Type in merv streams add baseFX base. Let's get to the important one. Merv streams edit, okay? So for this one, we're gonna use our baseFX stream because that's the stream you use to add effects to. So let's type in merv streams edit base. And this comes up. It is extra. There are a lot of different effects you can add to baseFX streams. I know it's probably a little overwhelming, but I'm going to walk you through every single one. Again, use chapters if you need to. First thing you can do with the baseFX stream is the picker tool. First, let's preview the base stream, the baseFX stream. The picker tool, what it does, it allows you to get the name of every material and entity basically in the map. You want to type in merv streams edit base picker. And what we want to do is we want to find the name of this ladder. You see this ladder right here? We want to find the name of that, right? Because we want to draw it on a different stream. So what you do is we're going to say it's probably a material, right? It's not an entity. I think it's a material. So you type in merv stream edit base picker, type in mat, and how this works is if it's visible on the screen, it's a 1. If it's not visible, it's a 0, okay? So you see how it's visible on the screen, that yellow ladder? We're gonna type in 1. Okay, now it's invisible, right? So we're gonna type in 0. It's still invisible, 0. It's still invisible, 0. Now it's visible, so type in 1. It's invisible, so 0. It's invisible, 0, 0, 0. After all of that, Half-Life Advanced Effects finally narrowed it down to a model name called Models, Props, Vehicles, Train _ Ladder. Now we have the name of this model, all right? And now you can basically do whatever you want to do with this model. Now that we have the name, you can draw it on an entity layer. We can undraw it on a world layer. You can do a lot of cool different things with this picker tool. To get out of the picker tool, type merge streams, edit base, picker, stop. And now the picker has stopped. All right, the next command in the edit base section, action filter. Okay, action filter is probably the most powerful tool we have available to us. This allows us to manipulate and alter the different materials and entities inside Counter-Strike. Remember that ladder that we pinpointed with the picker tool? Well, let's undraw it from the base layer. Let's type in merge streams, edit, base, action filter, and then we're going to type in addEx. And now what we're going to do is we're going to paste the file path to that ladder model we discovered with the picker tool, surrounded by quotes, and then you type in action equals no draw, okay? And look, as soon as we type that in, the ladder disappears. That's pretty cool, right? Really powerful tool, and hopefully create some really cool transitions with and really cool looks. Let's take a quick look at all the other action filter commands before we move on. These are secondary commands, not really important, but still good to know. Let's type in merge streams, edit base, action filter, and let's type in print. And as you can see, the print command will show you all the action filters that you currently have in. So a lot of these action filters that I have in already are from my config. As you can see, I've suppressed flashbangs, I've suppressed chickens. The next important command that you'll probably need to know is the remove command. So we'll type in merge streams, edit base, action filter, remove. So the way this works, after you type remove, you want to actually type in the ID number, and you can find the ID number over here on the left, okay? So it'll be ID equals 11, ID equals 10. Those are the numbers you're looking for. Let's remove the train ladder that we just no-drawed on this base layer. So we're going to type in merge streams, edit base, action filter, remove, space, and then it looks like the train ladder is ID number 11. So we're going to type that in, press enter, and look, it removed it, and now the train ladder is back. Very basic, but very powerful. The next thing that you probably need to know is just action filter clear. Pretty simple. Type that in. Let's go to print, and look, nothing shows up now. And that's because we just cleared all of those action filters that we had in. All right, cool. So that's the gist of action filter. All right, let's move on. Okay, next one, merge streams, edit base, clientEffectTexturesAction. I've done extensive tests with this command, and it does pretty much nothing. I cannot find what this command actually affects. Okay, I've talked to Dom. I've looked in the actual code of Half-Life Advanced Effects. For what we can tell, it may affect semi-transparent models or semi-transparent textures, okay? At the end of the day, you're not going to need this. It's probably not going to be usable for what you're trying to accomplish. There are other things that will probably achieve what you're trying to achieve. Let's move on. Merge streams, edit base, worldTexturesAction. It's either draw or no draw. Let's type no draw, see what it does, huh? Oh my God. Oh, that's what it does. It deletes basically all the textures in the world. As you can see, some of these things don't actually delete, like the trains. Those are probably under a different texture category and don't get deleted. All right, let's draw them back though, huh? How about it? Okay, next one. Merge streams, edit base, skyboxTexturesAction. Okay, this is a draw or no draw. So many maps in CSGO are actually made of a 3D sky dome. So it's basically like a dome that just like encapsulates the map, okay? And you look up and you can see, you know, sky wherever you look. That being said, there is a sky that still gets drawn behind the sky dome. Just know that skyboxTexturesAction sometimes affects skies in CSGO and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the map. All right, so let's see what happens with train, okay? So type in merge streams, edit base, skyboxTexturesAction, and let's type in no draw. And as you can see, we just glitched out the sky entirely. I don't really find it useful. I've never used it, and I don't really use it when I'm trying to replace the sky using Half-Life Advanced Effects, okay? There are other methods to replace skies in CSGO. So you could probably bypass this command, and we can move on from here. Let's draw it again so we don't get a glitchy sky. All right, next one, merge streams, edit base, staticPropTexturesAction. Okay, again, no draw or draw. Let's no draw it. All right, and there you go. All of the basically static props in the map are now gone. Probably do some pretty cool transitions with this right off the top of my head. I can think of a few things you could do. Let's draw that back on. Next one, I'm gonna point right over here. So you get these cables in the frame. Merge streams, edit base, cableAction, no draw, and the cables are gone. No more cables. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Let's draw them back. All right, now we have cables again. Merge stream, edit base, playerModelsAction. You could probably guess what this does. Let's no draw it. It's draw or no draw. No draw removes the player. But the knife is still there, okay? Well, that's taken care of by the next one. Just replace player with weapon. And now the weapon's gone. weaponModelsAction and playerModelsAction. Removes players, removes weapons. Let's draw them back, huh? How about it? Okay, merge streams, edit base, statTrakAction. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you know what that does. It removes the statTraks on weapons. Pretty self-explanatory. We don't need to show you that. Merge stream, edit base, shellModelsAction. Again, I'm pretty sure you know what that does. It removes the casings that come out of guns after you shoot. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, merge stream base, otherModelsAction. Again, no draw, draw. Basically what this covers is everything that's not covered in the other texture actions or models actions. So take a look at that crane to your left there. Let's type in no draw and it's gone. It basically hides stuff that isn't covered by the other stuff. Let's draw it back in. All right, merge streams, edit base, decalTexturesAction. Draw or no draw. Let's type no draw in, see what happens. Oh, look at that. The blood and bullet holes disappear. So if you want to make a clean version of Counter-Strike, you definitely want to use that command, all right? All right, next one, merge stream, edit base, effectsAction. No draw or draw, like usual. Why don't you take a look at the spark right here? This is going to be very nuanced, very subtle, okay? Ready? No draw. And look, some of the sparks disappear, okay? effectsAction is not going to get rid of a lot of substantial things. It's going to be very nuanced stuff. As you can see, Counter-Strike is made up of a lot of different small things that all combine together to create what you see. Okay, next one. Merge streams, edit base, shellParticleAction. Okay, we had shellModelsAction, right? And I told you it basically gets rid of shells in the map. Well, shellParticleAction, it works in cooperation with shellModels. There are some shaders that are going on with shells inside CSGO that this affects, okay? There are actually some shells that work off of particle system, and then there are some shells that work off a model system. Basically, all you need to know at the end of the day is if no drawing shellModelsAction doesn't work for you, try no drawing shellParticleAction. Super easy, and let's move on. All right, next one, merge stream, edit base, otherParticleAction. Take a look at that fire to the left there. When we no draw it, boom, fire is gone. Next one, merge stream, edit base, stickerAction. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you know what that is. I don't have to show you, okay? It hides the stickers on guns, all right? If you want that, go ahead and turn it off. If you don't want that, leave it alone. All right, these next few commands, error material action, other action, right Z action, dev action, other engine action, other special action. Feel free to play around with it, but you're not gonna see much change in the map when you draw, no draw, or mess around with the settings. You can definitely just skip those. Okay, merge streams, edit base, clear, not really useful. Merge stream, edit base, clearBeforeHud. This is basically the basis of hudBlack or hudWhite streams that I showed you earlier. You type in merge stream, edit base, clearBeforeHud black. It basically draws the stream as black, but keeps the HUD on over top. You can change it to white if you want. And it draws the HUD, but changes the stream to white. It's basically a redundancy from the stream hudBlack or hudWhite. Let's change it back to 9. Merge stream, edit base, vGUI action. Not really something you need to worry about. Next one, draw Z mode. Not something you need. Here's an important one though. smokeOverlayAlphaFactor. Does this ever happen to you? We go into a smoke, everything turns gray. You try to move back, and look, the smoke just stays on the screen. Well, it's because there's an overlay on top of the screen whenever you go into smokes, okay? It works independently of the smoke itself. In order to get rid of that overlay so you could walk into smokes and still see, you want to type in smokeOverlayAlphaFactor. Turn it to 0. Now go into the smoke and look, a halo appears around your camera. You now don't have the smoke covering your face. So now you can see everything inside. Next one, should force no vid override, not important. Debug print, not important for you. And invalidate map, not important. Control edit base reshade. This is for reshade users. This isn't a reshade tutorial. I suggest you go to Alan Gaming. Check out his reshade tutorials. He can help you out. Next one's attach commands and detach commands. These are very unstable. Dom warns, use at your own risk. Game may crash. I suggest not using them. Not helpful for us movie makers. Next one, edit base, draw HUD. I think you know where this one's going, right? Edit base, draw HUD. Let's say 0 and the HUD disappears. Next one, draw view model. Merge stream, edit base, draw view model. can probably guess where that was going, right? In POV, you can see that the gun disappeared. It removes the view model of a first-person POV. Okay, force build cube maps, not something that you're going to be using, if at all. All right, Merv streams capture type. Again, not something you're going to be using. Keep it to normal for the most part, okay? Merv streams edit base, do bloom and tone mapping. Okay, the thing with baseFX is that it removes the bloom and tone mapping. That's the lighting effects that I told you about earlier. When you're planning a C4 or when the round starts and you get that like really weird lighting effect that slowly fades out and goes to normal lighting and normal colors. Keep this at 0. You don't want that stuff. All right, let's do Merv streams settings now. Okay, Merv stream settings actually allows you to create a profile for your streams. And its most popular use is actually creating an FFmpeg setting so your streams record straight to AVI instead of as TGAs. Let's type in Merv streams settings add, okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an FFmpeg setting, okay? And I'm gonna show you the settings profile we use for echoes of 2019. So Merv stream settings add FFmpeg, and let's just do echoes, okay? All right. Space, quotation, dash, V codec, and we use Huff, so we're going to type that in as the V codec, space, dash, A codec, none, space, and then you're going to do curly bracket, you're going to do capital letters, quote, close curly bracket, open curly bracket, AFX underscore stream underscore path, close curly bracket, slash, and then this next part basically is what the name of the output video is going to be called, okay? So let's just call it video.avi, and then you're going to do open curly bracket, quote, close curly bracket, quotations. And it looks like I have a little misspell there. There we go. Remove that. All right, cool. Hit enter. All right, cool. So we just added a new settings profile for our streams. All right, now that we created a settings profile, let's print it out. So type in Merv stream settings, print, and look, we have a bunch of stream settings that we could use. Some of these were already put in by Dom and the Half-Life Advanced Effects team. Here's the one that we just put in. Here's one that I have in my CFG. There's a lot of different stream profiles that you can use by default, and I suggest you check them out and see which one you like the best. Or you could just use my stream settings. It's up to you. Okay, say you want to edit a settings profile that we put in, right? Say we want to edit the settings of echoes that we just put in. You type in Merv streams settings, edit echoes, and then options, and it actually tells you the current value of that particular settings profile. All right, we can actually change that to be something else. What if we wanted to change, I don't know, the file name, right? Type in Merv stream settings echoes. Let's actually copy and paste that, and then let's change this to tutorial. Let's type in Merv stream settings, edit echoes options again, and look, now the current value is changed to tutorial. It will output the video that we record as tutorial.avi. Not something you're going to be using a lot, but good to know. Okay, Merv stream edit base settings. Remember the setting profiles we made earlier, the echoes profile where you could record with FFmpeg. Well, this is where you set it. This is how you apply that profile to your stream. You type in Merv streams edit base settings, and we're going to type in echoes. And when we type in Merv stream base settings, our current value is now echoes. So whenever we record this base stream, it's going to record as an AVI using the Huff codec, and we don't have to put together TGA or BMPs anymore. It's great. Okay, I think we're done talking about baseFX streams now. Let's move on to the next stream type, which is hudWhite and hudBlack. What hudWhite does is it takes your HUD, which is this stuff, and it basically puts it against a white background. And then hudBlack takes your HUD and it puts it against a black background. And what this does, it allows you to isolate your HUD. So if you want to draw certain aspects of your HUD, or if you want to draw the whole thing on a completely different stream, these are the streams for you. And let me show you what they look like real quick. So we're typing in Merv streams add HUD black, and then we'll call this black. And then Merv streams add HUD white, and we'll call this one white. And then let's preview the black stream. So Merv streams preview, and then the name of the black stream, which is black. Okay, this is what HUD black looks like. All right, let's preview the white stream. Merv streams preview white. And this is what HudWhite looks like. It's against a white background. Pretty self-explanatory, right? So the next streams are the ones you're probably going to be using the most when you want to do cool transitions or effects. Matte world, matte entity, and matte. Depth world is basically just a depth stream that only applies to the world. The entity's not there. And depth entity is basically just affecting the entity. All right, so we'll type in Merv streams add matte world, and then we'll call this stream world. And then let's preview it. So Merv streams preview, and then the name of the stream, which is world. With a matte world, as you can see, all the player models are gone, and you just have the world stream. And a matte entity is basically the player models drawn on a green screen, okay? And you can draw this on a blue screen, on a red screen, and I have a tutorial for that. Link in the description below. These are pretty standard streams, right? You have your entity stream, you have your world stream, and you also have your matte stream. A matte stream is basically an entity stream, but drawn on an alpha layer. So you don't have to key out the background. You just throw it right into your program and it should already key itself. I suggest using this instead of a matte entity layer because it's going to be a little cleaner of a key. Now, the problem with this is that you can't preview a matte layer, unfortunately. So that's the only drawback to using it, but it's a much better option than using a matte entity layer. Okay, so those are all the basic streams that you can add. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about print next. Okay, now that we created all of these streams, let's look at the streams that we created. We can see their names and what kind of streams they are. So type in merv streams print. And look, we have a list of all of the streams we created. So we have the normal stream, we have our base stream, we have our hudBlack stream, hudWhite, depth of field, our matte world, our matte entity, and our matte layer. And as you can see, they have numbers next to them. These are the indexes, okay? Like I said earlier, you always want your normal stream to be at the top, right? Because that's going to cache your Counter-Strike properly, all right? And then all the other streams can follow after that. To the right of everything, you're going to see record. Right now, all of the streams are set to record. What if we don't want to record some of these streams? We don't want to record a normal stream. We just want to have a normal stream at the top of our list so everything runs smoothly, right? But we don't want to record it. Well, I'll show you how to do that. So what you want to do is you want to type in merv streams edit and then the name of your stream layer. So in this case, our stream layer is going to be called norm, and then type in record. And then what we want to do is press 0. And what that did is that just shut off the recording for that normal layer. All right, so now let's type in merv streams print again. And look, as you can see, it is now saying record off, okay? We just successfully told Half-Life Advanced Effects to not record the normal layer. So what this allows you to do is make a bunch of different streams so you have them readily available, but you can turn off the recording at any time. So you don't waste time and storage space by recording unnecessary scenes that you don't need at that particular time. Okay, next command. Let's type in merv streams record. This basically allows you to dictate where your stream records to. And that's simple as putting in the file path, okay? So we're gonna record it to the C drive and I'm gonna create a folder called merv. So now every time you record a stream, just go to your C drive and a folder called merv will be there and all of your recordings will be there. You can literally put it anywhere though. You can put it, if you have a D drive, put it in a D drive and say, make a folder called recordings. All right, merv streams record start. Pretty self-explanatory. It starts the recording. So all of the streams that you have the recording turned on for, those will record. Norm, because we turned the recording off, will not record. Merv streams record end, self-explanatory, it'll end the recording. Merv streams record format. If you don't have FFmpeg set up to record your clips, each frame is going to output as individual files, individual pictures actually. And you can tell Half-Life Advanced Effects to record those in TGAs or BMPs. It's up to you. I think that's an antiquated way of recording. I personally use FFmpeg and I have a tutorial that I'll put down in the description that you can watch and follow along with. Merv streams record present on screen, 0 or 1. This basically shows you a live view of the recording while it's happening, okay? I don't suggest putting it on, just keep that off. It could cause epileptic seizures. Merv streams record, matte post-process enable. I have this set to 0 in my personal config. Half-Life Advanced Effects has it set to -1. I suggest not changing it. Keep the Half-Life Advanced Effects setting the way it is. Merv streams record matte dynamic tone mapping. Again, this one just changes the look of Counter-Strike. And again, keep it at -1 the way Half-Life Advanced Effects has it. Merv streams record matte motion blur enabled. I personally have this turned off in the CSGO settings. Half-Life Advanced Effects has its own system of controlling it. I have it set to 0 for myself, which is that command. The current value for Half-Life Advanced Effects has it set to -1. I would not change it. I would leave it alone. I personally turn it off independent of Half-Life Advanced Effects because I don't want motion blur. I want to control that in post-production, okay? Okay, merv streams record matte force tone map scale, okay? This basically controls all of like the weird lighting glitches that happen whenever you plant the bomb or do other things in Counter-Strike. Really annoying. It's currently set at 1.1. That's what I have it set at, and I think that is perfect, okay? So I would suggest putting it at that if you haven't already. You can throw that in your config to make things easier. Merv streams record start movie wave. I have this set to 1 because I want the stream to record an audio. So I suggest putting that to 1 and moving on. Next one, merv streams record voices. All right, what this does when a voice is recorded in an actual demo, and I don't think it does that in matchmaking demos, but any other demo like Faceit or ESEA where the voices are actually recorded, this will record those voices separate from your main audio file that Half-Life Advanced Effects records. So it'll record all the gunshots and all the dying sounds and all the blood splatters and whatnot in one file, and then on another file, it'll record the actual voices that are, spoken by your teammates. Default is 0, I believe, so we'll just keep it at 0. If you do want to record voices in a separate audio file, you're going to set this to 1. And that command would be merge stream record voices 1. Okay, the next 3 streams, merge streams record BVH, record cam, and record AGR. These are basically all motion data commands. You use these if you're working in Blender or Unreal or any other 3D program outside of Half-Life Advanced Effects. A majority of people are not going to be using this, and you shouldn't be using this if you're a newcomer. You probably have a very specific agenda that you're trying to achieve if you're looking to turn these on and utilize them, but in most cases, we're not going to need them, okay? If you do need them, there are plenty of tutorials out there, and I suggest you watch those. All right, great. We went through the extensive merge streams record command. All right, let's move on. Let's look at move now, okay? Merge streams move. Now, basically what that does, that basically allows you to rearrange your recording list, okay? Now, why would you need that, you ask? Well, I'll give you an instance. So say we made an entity stream, right? This entity layer stream before we made a norm stream. So we might be at risk of like some glitches or artifacts occurring while we're recording because Half-Life Advanced Effects didn't properly cache the stream list. Well, you can rearrange streams and make sure that a stream comes before another one. And here, I'll show you. So basically you type in merge streams move, type in the stream name you want to move, in this case entity, and then you type in the index number that you want to move that stream before. We want the entity stream to move before the normal stream. So what I'm going to do is type in merge streams move entity, type in 0. Now let's type in merge streams print, and look, the entity layer moved before the normal layer. All right, cool. So we just rearranged the order of these streams. What if we want to put the alpha stream before the depthOfField stream? That's as simple as typing in merge streams move alpha, and then we go to the depthOfField stream index, which is 5, and type in 5. Let's print, and look, alpha is now at 5 and depthOfField is now at 6. So alpha went before depthOfField and it pushed everything down in the index list, okay? Next one, merge streams remove. Basically, you just type that in and then you go to your stream list and you just pick which stream you want to remove. Let's remove the hudWhite stream. So type in merge streams remove, type in the stream name, which is white, all right? And then let's see if it's removed. It is, look. The hudWhite stream is now gone. All right, preview suspend basically suspends all previews, similar to previewEnd, not really useful. Let's go to merge streams main stream. Merge streams main stream. Okay, remember that caching concept that I told you about earlier, where Half-Life Advanced Effects takes the first stream and it basically uses it as a way to create a foundation for all future streams? This command actually allows you to control which stream creates that cache. Its default value is the first active, so that's going to be not norm, but entity. It's going to use entity as the caching stream. We want to make Half-Life Advanced Effects use the first stream on the list, which is norm. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in merge streams main stream, and we're going to type in first. So instead of first active, which is entity, it's now going to use the first stream on the list. So again, doing this, changing the main stream setting, this allows you to put norm as the first stream, not record it so you don't waste space and time, but also allows the correct caching to happen so your streams don't have artifacts and glitches. It's a pretty unknown setting, but something that's really important in my opinion, okay? So make sure you have that in your config, or make sure you put that in before you record. That was it. I think we covered all of the more important stuff that merge streams has to offer. I really hope that finally gave you an idea of what all of these commands do, and I hope that it really helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below or join the Discord, where we offer pretty much 24/7 live support on all things related to editing. My name is Anthony Perfetto. I really hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next one.